In this case, when we make our ricotta cheese, we're going to use a strainer to separate our whey and our curds. You'll take your cheesecloth, you'll line it, then you'll pour your whey and curds into this, and it'll separate the whey and the curds. The whey will go down and the curds will remain. Traditionally, this is what everybody does. But after you get done making this cheese, you're just going to throw this away. And I think these retail for about $3. So you're just going to end up throwing that cheesecloth away anyway. So, a jelly bag. I've got a small hole in it here. That just helps me to keep it up. If your strainer doesn't have a holder on it, no big deal. With cheesecloth, you get a lot of the curds that get tangled up inside of the little threads, because this is essentially gauze. Where here, you're actually going to retain 90% of your curds. When you take it back out, you reverse the bag, and that'll all fall away. All of it will fall away. Okay, to make ricotta cheese, it's a pretty simple thing. We're going to need an acid. So I chose to use lemons as my acid. If you want to use apple cider vinegar, you can do that too. It kind of gives it a little bit different flavor. Okay, and I'm also going to use some store-bought organic milk. Half and half. Do not get a fat-free half and half. It won't work. This is just a standard organic half and half. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do our lemons now. I know that the first batch we're going to do, we're going to use raw whole milk. I know someone out there is probably going to call the man on me. And the FDA or USDA is going to come after me for using whole milk. That's alright if they do. Okay, so the second batch we're going to do, we're actually going to use stuff that you can find at your local grocery store. Like I mentioned earlier, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this whole milk, and you can see the cream line there. We're going to shake this up. Now, I've got 4 cups of whole milk. You really don't want to set your burner on high. You want to set it on a medium to medium high and see where your heat takes you, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to get this too hot. As you add the acid to it, it's going to start to coagulate. Right out about 190. Go ahead and get our 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Get up about 395. If you go to 200, that's okay. But you got to be a minimum of 190 to 200 degrees. Okay. Now watch this. We're going to add the lemon juice. I'll go ahead and pull my thermometer. Do you see that? Do you see those curds? There's your ricotta cheese. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to get our bag. You can see there, sorry. Pour this right into the bag. You see what I mean about handling that? That is so much easier than cheesecloth. And those of you who've made this before can tell straight away this is much easier than cheesecloth. And this is the way. You have some ideas how to use this way, because I don't know what to do with it. Some people suggest feeding it to your houseplants. I don't know if that's true or not, but if you have a use that we could use this way for, why don't you post it down below? Get the bag down there. That's our ricotta right there. There's our cheese. Look at that. See how easy that is? There's your ricotta. We're going to use 3½ cups of whole vitamin D organic milk that we bought at the grocery store. We're going to go ahead and pour 3½ cups in our pot. Now you want to add 5/8 of a cup of half and half. And remember, we want this to be just regular organic half and half. You want 5/8 of a cup. Okay, I'm just going to show you what this is going to do now. I'm going to push it to you. Now watch what happens to the milk. I'm going to add our lemon juice. There it goes. See our ricotta starting to form? Do you see the curds? There's the curds. Now this was using organic vitamin D whole milk that you buy at the grocery store, and I used 3.5 cups of that, and I used 5/8 of a cup of half and half. Make sure it's not a fat-free half and half, or it won't work properly. You need that fat to make the cheese. Most people would tell you that you have to wait the next day to consume your ricotta cheese. That's not true. If you use cheesecloth, then that's true. If you use a jelly bag, you can consume it within a minute after you make it, just as soon as you can handle it, and squeeze as much moisture out of that. You get about 30% more moisture out of this using a jelly bag than you do with cheesecloth. So that's pretty important, especially like if you're a chef or you're cooking a meal in front of somebody and you want to impress them by making a homemade ricotta cheese. You and I know that this is a pretty simple process. We've successfully made ricotta cheese for ourselves. As mentioned before, if you know a method to use the leftover whey that we have from making ricotta cheese, leave a comment down below.